We are in a weather action day, taking a live look at downtown Denver right now. The snow has been falling steadily the last few hours, so make sure you're careful on the roads out there. And there's already some issues on the commute home right now. Eastbound 6th Avenue is closed just west of I-25 due to a crash, and traffic is being diverted to the I-25 ramps. There's no word on when that'll reopen, but you can see it's very backed up. Thank you for joining us at 4. I'm Jessica Porter. We have team coverage this afternoon. Let's go to Denver 7's Danny New, who was in downtown Denver. Danny, how is it looking out there?
Well, before it was snowing, like really hard, like when the snow looks like cotton balls falling from the sky. Now it's a little thinner, but there's still a lot of it. And Jess, when we anchor the 8 p.m. together later, I'm gonna have hat hair, just so you know. I'm really sorry about that. So we like to come out here a lot in Denver 7. We usually like to have this really beautiful backdrop of the skyline. And we're like, wow, look at our really pretty city. Well, this is what you can see right now. Nothing. There's nothing behind me. It is cloudy and it is foggy, and it's really hard to make out things that are far away. So that's the kind of conditions you're dealing with. As far as the highways and the roads, and you can see them behind me a little bit, I would go with, scientifically speaking, slushy. They are slushy roads. Pretty cleared overall, I would say. The highways look pretty good to me. Cars are going just fine at pretty normal speeds, but as usual, as we expect, the side roads look pretty slushy. So just be careful when you're on those smaller roads. And Jess, back to you. I'll be here taking in snow.
All right, stay warm, Danny. And with all that slush and the snow continuing, you're probably going to have a little bit of a slow commute. Meteorologist Stacey Donaldson is here with us. Stacey, what should we expect for tonight and the weekend?
Well, it looks like it'll be snowy for tonight and then improving over the weekend. But outside now, we do have that snow falling all across the I-25 corridor and the eastern plains. We have winter weather advisories in effect for the Denver metro and parts north. So we're going to continue with this snow for a few more hours. There's one heavy band that just passed through Denver, and you can see that moving off to the south and east. And we'll have some banding of snow moving through as we go through the rest of tonight. Otherwise, snow up toward Fort Collins, out toward Estes Park, Allens Park, and Jamestown, and across the eastern plains out toward Akron and Yuma, where we saw some rain earlier change over to snow as those temperatures have been falling. Also rain down into southeastern Colorado. That's changing over as we speak as those temperatures continue to plummet. As for our winter weather advisory here around Denver, it's in effect until 11 p.m. tonight, and farther to the south toward Trinidad until 2 a.m. in the morning. The snow will last a little longer down that direction, but it stretches all the way from Longmont and Boulder down toward Castle Rock and Larkspur. And your Friday night planner, temperatures in the 20s with snow all the way to 10 o'clock, and we'll be down to 27 degrees by 11 o'clock. But a nice improvement as we go into the weekend. We'll talk more about what we can expect for the rest of tonight and Saturday and Sunday coming up.
This is the one drug that has come on scene that truly terrifies me.
Some of the worst dealers in the metro pushing deadly drugs like fentanyl, but walking out of courts essentially scot-free. Police are fed up, the Attorney General dismayed, and a father who lost 2 sons furious. Denver 7 Investigates looks at the data, and a hidden camera investigation looks deeper into the fentanyl crisis in our community. Here's Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski.
It ruins people.
You're hearing the voice
It ruins families.
of a veteran undercover cop.
It ruins lives.
A voice of frustration so significant he's compelled to speak out.
Hundreds and hundreds of people in the city and county of Denver have died.
In silhouette, his voice digitized to protect his undercover identity. He's reacting to new data uncovered by Denver 7. Reacting to what we found in the courts, and reacting to what our hidden cameras found at one of Denver's most iconic locations.
It's ruining our city. It's ruining our state.
The sounds and beauty of Union Station contrasted by what our hidden cameras recorded. Experts tell us those images, aluminum foil, flames, inhaling through a tube, most often that's how fentanyl users ingest the drug. Make no mistake, it didn't take long for us to capture this video. It's right out in the open, virtually every single day.
I've seen entire families completely torn apart.
It's definitely, Tony, the worst day of my life.
In one day, Matt Riviere lost his 2 sons to fentanyl.
At 2 a.m., I got a bang on my door. She had told me that both the boys had just passed away.
Andrew was 21. Stephen was 19. 2 decisions, 2 pills, 1 tragic ending.
Yeah, that it was fentanyl, that it was a counterfeit drug, that they thought they were doing hydrocodone or oxycodone.
When you see our data analysis, how do you react?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that that many people are being able to escape the system and not be held accountable.
He's reacting to these numbers, data gathered by Denver 7 using the state's open records law.
It's awful. This is broken. It's not just about me. I lost both my boys, and I have to live with that pain and that suffering.
The data shows in all of last year in Denver alone, 1,298 arrests for serious drug offenses like selling fentanyl. Nearly 70% of those accused drug dealers went to court, and judges let them get out of jail free, issuing a personal recognizance or PR bond, allowing them to walk out of the courtroom without any monetary guarantee, nothing more than a promise to return to court.
Mr. Gonzalez-Pena has failed to appear.
Undercover cops in Denver arrested Martin Gonzalez-Pena on multiple serious drug dealing charges, including significant amounts of fentanyl and heroin. He didn't show up in court after getting a PR bond.
Failed to appear.
Our data dig discovered Gonzalez-Pena was not the only accused drug dealer who failed to appear in court last year. Take a look. In Denver alone, 45% of all accused serious drug offenders failed to appear after a judge granted a PR bond.
Failed to appear.
After they promised to return to face their charges.
Mr. Fernandez was ordered to appear for a second advisement at 9 a.m. this morning in courtroom 2300. It's now 11:03 a.m. Mr. Fernandez has failed to appear.
Records show that accused drug dealer was arrested by undercover Denver police with a loaded firearm, wanted on warrants, and he was carrying 20,000 fentanyl pills. A judge forced him to pay only $1,000 in bond money. And yes, he also failed to appear.
Mr. Fernandez has failed to appear.
We had the opportunity to take one of the highest level dealers in the city of Denver and keep them locked up so that they can't sell fentanyl, so more people don't die.
This undercover cop risked his life to help make that arrest.
They didn't even put an ankle monitor on this guy. I'm sure he's out there right now selling fentanyl. They failed to do their jobs.
Ultimately, it's the ugly side of a beautiful city.
Failed to appear.
And it's something city and state leaders have to confront. Is this acceptable? The answers are crystal clear to many.
Because for God's sake, somebody has to do something now. People have to say enough is enough. We're not going to allow judges and politicians to do this to us anymore.
So Stephen is on the left and Andrew's on the right.
The answers for a dad who lives daily with the pain of what might have been are filled with both frustration and anger.
We're letting these murderers, in many cases, go. It's absolutely wrong. Yeah, these are some of my favorite photos of them being older, for sure.
Matt Riviere doesn't know who sold his boys the fentanyl, but he says he will fight with every ounce of his being to keep them off the streets if they are ever arrested. No other parent, he says, should have to live through this hell.
I have a picture of the boys by a lamp I turn on every morning. And I sometimes literally shake my head and I look at that picture like, this can't be true.
And that painful reality is why Matt labels his son's unknown drug dealers as murderers. We wanted to share the numbers and the data we uncovered with Denver District Attorney Beth McCann. We were told she is out of the office and unavailable. We do plan on following up with that request. And one final point for you. Both Governor Polis and Attorney General Weiser have recently called on lawmakers to revisit the issues and penalties surrounding fentanyl. I'm Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski.
The FDA has delayed a public meeting next week on Pfizer's COVID vaccine for kids under 5. The agency's outside committee of vaccine experts was supposed to weigh in on Tuesday. Now, the announcement allows speculation on whether the vaccine should be approved for this age group right now. Data from Pfizer suggests that kids under 5 may need 3 doses of the vaccine to reach sufficient immunity against symptomatic COVID. But the company does not yet have hard evidence a 3rd dose will work. The FDA pushed Pfizer to seek authorization for the first 2 doses, but now says it will wait to review more data. A doctor that we spoke with says it does make sense that the FDA originally wanted to move forward with the 2-dose review, considering the time it will take for kids to need the 3rd dose.
It's 3 weeks between the first 2 doses, and then the plan would be 8 weeks for the 3rd dose. And then you have 2 more weeks after the last dose to be protected. So, as we are kind of coming down from Omicron and we may expect another variant on the summer, this is kind of the perfect time to try to protect these kids because it takes 3 months, give or take, from beginning to end.
There's also the uncertainty about how a new variant will impact the unvaccinated. Child hospitalizations during the Omicron wave have been 4 times higher than previous waves in the U.S. That is according to findings published in the journal Nature. While some parents are eager to get their kids under 5 vaccinated, others say they'll either wait or not do it at all. The findings on your screen come from the Kaiser Family Foundation. It found that even 5 to 11-year-olds haven't been getting the vaccine. As of last month, just a little more than a quarter of that population got the shot.
So pediatricians and family doctors working with parents, they know how to do this. But it does take the parent to take the child by the ear and bring them into the doctor. We can't vaccinate you through the computer. So telemedicine won't work. You have to show up to be vaccinated.
Now, both doctors that we spoke with agree that vaccinating kids is essential to stopping the spread of COVID and getting out of the pandemic. The U.S. government is preparing to have more COVID treatment options ready to go if they're approved. It has purchased enough of a new monoclonal antibody drug from Eli Lilly to treat 600,000 patients. The FDA is still considering the company's request for emergency use authorization. Data indicates that this new drug works against Omicron. Well, there's new attention around addressing inequitable practices impacting children in school, the role that school counselors are playing in affecting change.
And a nurse forced to keep paying her mortgage for her house destroyed by the Marshall Fire. Still ahead, how Denver 7 viewers are stepping in to help.